So today we're going to be talking about measures of central tendency, a 5-number summary, the IQR or interquartile range, and box and whisker plots. I know it sounds like not a lot, but bear with me. All right, so the first one, we're going to look at our measures of central tendency, which is a number that is used to represent a typical number in a data set. It's either going to be the mean, the median, or the mode. You use one, you don't use all of them. So the mean is simply the average of all numbers. We'll talk about how to find that later in the lesson. The median is the number, the number in the middle of the set. And the mode is simply the number or the value that appears the most. Our range is the difference between the largest and smallest value. And we'll look at finding all of these right now. So let's find the mean or the average. So the mean, step 1, is to add all the numbers. And step 2 is divide by the amount of numbers. So let's go ahead and let's do that. Let me pull up my calculator. Okay, so we're going to take 80 plus 75 plus 95 plus 62 plus 100. So the sum, we go back to this, the sum, so that's step 1, equals 412. 412. And step 2 is to divide by the amount of numbers. So we're going to take 412 and we're going to divide by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. And that'll be our mean. So we're going to take 412 divided by 5. We get 82.4. And this one we don't have to round because it's a nice number, 0.4. So we just get 82.4. That's how we find the mean. Let's find the median. So we need to arrange the numbers from least to greatest and then find the number in the middle. Okay, if there are 2 middles, add them and divide by 2. So let's look. That's how do we find the number in the middle? So I'm going to start. 18 and 59 are at the ends. Oops. And then we got 27 and 41 next. And that means that 35 is in the middle. So this means that the median equals 35. All right, let's talk about the mode. The mode is the number. So we're going to find, we need to arrange the numbers from least to greatest. Find the number or value that appears the most. Okay, there can be more than one mode or none. So let's take a look. 10, 10, and 10. So 10 appears the most. So our mode equals 10. Now let's find our range. We're going to identify the smallest and the largest value. Then it's the maximum minus the minimum. So in this nicely ordered set, our minimum is 100. Our minimum is 1, and our maximum is 100. So we're going to do max minus min. So our max is 100 minus our minimum of 1. So that means our range is 99. All right, let's take a look at how we can influence the mean and the median. All right, there are two things that we can do. We can either make the mean bigger or we can make the mean smaller. There are two ways to make the mean bigger. First is you add or insert a number larger than the current mean, or you remove a number smaller than the mean. Both of those will make the mean bigger. How do you make the mean smaller? Well, you remove a number larger than the mean, or you add a number smaller than the mean. All right, let's take a look at making the median bigger. Again, you can add a number, and that will make the median larger, or you can remove a number smaller than the median, and that'll make the median larger as well. And vice versa, to make it smaller, you remove a number larger than the median, or you add a number smaller than the median. All right, next we are going to look at how a box and a whisker plot. So a box and a whisker plot is a data display that divides a set of data into 4 parts. The median, or second quartile, separates the set into 2 halves. The first, or lower quartile, is the median of the lower half, and the third, or upper quartile, is the median of the upper half. So let's take a look at the first half. We can also call this Q1 for the quartile 1, or for the first quartile, or this last one is Q3, or quartile 3. So let's look at our steps. Step 1, we need to write the numbers in ascending or increasing order from smallest all the way to the largest. We're going to find the 5-number summary. What is the 5-number summary? Well, that's pretty easy. That is the min, quartile 1, the median, or quartile 2. Let me erase that 3. It looks like a 3, but it should be a 2. All right, and then quartile 3. And then the max, a 5-number summary. Then we're going to draw a number line that includes the min and the max. We're going to plot our minimum, our lower quartile, our median, our upper quartile, and our max. And then we're going to draw a box from Q1 to Q3, and our whiskers are going to be our min and our max. Okay, so that is what we do for that. So you guys are going to complete that part using Canvas, both Canvas 2 and Canvas 4. So let's take a look and move on to our next section, which we are going to be putting all of these to work. We're just going to practice finding them, even though in practice we don't really do all of them. So our first example is we have the hits in the round of hacky sack. Okay, so then we're going to answer these questions over here. So our mean. So we're going to add all of these numbers up and divide by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so we're going to add them up and divide by 7. So let's do that. Okay, so let's take 10 plus 3 plus 15 plus 6 plus 6 plus 8 plus 13. We get 61. There are 7 numbers, so we're going to divide by 7. So our average is 8.714. We're going to round that to 8.7. We'll do 8.71. Our median, so we need to order these from least to greatest, from smallest to largest. So our smallest is 3, and then we have 2 6s, and then we have an 8, a 10, and then a 13. So we find the number in the middle. So at the end, then 6 inside. So we have 2 numbers in the middle. So up there, we're going to add that together. 6 plus 8 equals 14. And then we're going to divide by 2, which is 7. So now our median is 7. Our mode, let's take a look at our numbers again. We have 2 6s, so our mode is 6. Our range is the max minus the min. So our max is 13, our min is 3, so that means our range equals 10. Now let's answer these questions. What will happen to the mean if the next round of hacky sack had 3 hits? The mean will, let's see, if I add in a 3, 3 is smaller than my mean, so we are going to decrease because 3 is smaller than the mean. What will happen to the median if the next round of hacky sack had 9 hits? Okay, so let's take a look and let's just do a thought. Let's write out all of these numbers: 3, 6, 6, 8, 10, 13, and 15. Now let's put in, so right now the median is 8. But the next round, that's going to have 9. So that's going to be right there. So now what happens to the median? So 3, 6, 6, 8 is now above, and 9, 10, 13, 15. So we got to add the 2 numbers in the middle and divide by 2. So 8 plus 9 is 17. Divided by 2 is 8.5. So the old mean was 8, and it is now 8.5. So that means the median will increase because 9 is larger than the median. Now let's take a look at example 2. We are going to draw a box and a whisker. So we have our data set. They were nice enough and they put it in order for us already. So let's start filling out our 5-number summary. Let's go to our min. It is 5. Let's go to our max. It is 34. All right, now let's start finding the number in the middle. So we're going to take a look. We're going to go through and count them out so that we can easily identify the number in the middle. See how I'm coloring? All right, so it looks like 12 is the number in the middle. Let's double check that. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on either side. So our median is 12. Okay, now let's find our median of the lower part. So we're going to count these. So middle, middle. Let's start crossing things off. All right, looks like 9 and 11 are in the middle. So 9 plus 11 is 20, divided by 2 is 10. So our quartile 1 is 10. Let's find the upper. Let's cross them off until we get there. 19 and 25, so that is 44 if we add those 2 together. And then divide by 2, and we get 22. That is our quartile 3. Now, the mode in our problem, which one appears the most? Let's see, it looks, just by looking at it, that 11 is our mode. So now let's do our box and a whisker. So our min is 5 and our max is 34. So let's just start at 5 and then let's increase by 5s. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and let's go to 35. All right, so let us now plot our 5-number summary. Our min is at 5, so I'm doing it above the line. And our max is 34, so it's going to be a little bit before 35. And then our quartile, our median, is at 12. So that is right here in between 10 and 15 about. All right, then we have our quartile 1 at 10, and our quartile 3 is at 22, so that's just in between 22 and 25. Now we're going to draw our box. Okay, I'm going to draw a box like this, and then all the way over to there, and there, and then draw a line in between our median, and then whiskers out to our min and our max. And there I have a box and whisker. Notice that my number line is scaled. It's simply not just these numbers, okay, but it is counts incrementally up till we include all of our numbers. So this is a number line that is scaled. So I'm counting by fives here. I'm not just putting these numbers down here, okay, and drawing a box and whisker. That's not how it works. All right, so Daniel was selected as the state player of the year for Arizona High School baseball. The following numbers are his totals from each game. Use the data provided to construct a box and a whisker plot. So the first thing that we need to do is order this list from least to greatest. So looking up here, looks like 15 is the least. We'll go up from there, 15 and then 16 and then 19. That takes care of that. And then after that, we got 21 and then 24. And then we have 28. Oops, I missed 25. So 25 and then 28. Wow. Great if I could write a 5. 28. Cross that off. 29. And then we have 30. And then, let's see, 31. Okay, 35. And it looks like 43 is our last number. All right, so that's easy. Our min is now 15. Our max is 43. Our lower quartile, well, let's find our median. So let's go in. 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there is no number in the middle. So we have to add these two. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is in the middle. So we have to add 25 plus 28. We get 53. And then we divide by 2. Let me pull up my calculator real quick. $53 divided by 2 is 26.5. So we get 26.5 as our median. Then we do these two. We find the upper and the lower. All right, so we have 19 and 21. So that's 19 plus 21 is 40. And then we divide by 2 and we get 20. So our lower quartile is 20. Our upper quartile, 30 through 31. So that's 61. Divided by 2 is 30.5. All right, and then let's do our box and a whisker. We got to go from 15 to 43. So let's start with our scale. Let's go by 5. Yeah, we'll start at 15. We'll go by 5s. 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. All right, so now we're going to put our min at 15. Oops. And our max is at 43, so that's in between 40 and 45. All right, now we're going to put our lower quartile, which is at 20. Our upper quartile, which is at 30.5, so that's just right there. Okay, and then 26.5 is right above 25. So we're going to box our inner 3 points, and then draw a line through our median, and then there we have our whiskers. So there's a box and a whisker plot. All right, let's take a look at example 4. Here are our grades. We are asked to do another box and a whisker plot. So now let's do that. So we're going to start with ordering these. So we got 42 as our lowest. Let's see, 76, and then 79, and then 85, and then 88. Then we got 95, 98, and then 100 and 100. So now let's do our min. Our min is 42. Our max is 100. Our quartile, let's go. Let's cross off. 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. So 88 is our median. All right, and then we'll do our lower quartiles first. So that's in between 76 and 79. So we add those. So we got 155. And divided by 2 is, we'll do 155 divided by 2. We get 77.5. So we get 77.5. And then we have our upper quartile, which is between 98 and 100. So 98 plus 100 is 198. Divided by 2 is 99. So our upper quartile is 99. All right, let's draw our box and the whisker plot now. Let me fix my line here. All right. So we are going to go to, let's start with 40. We're going to count by fives. 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, and 100. All right, so we have then 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95. Okay, so let's start with 42. That's going to be our min. So we're going to put a point there, just above 40. And then we're going to put a point at our max of 100. And then 88. So that's in between 85 and 90, closer to 90. Then we have, what do we got? 77.5. So that's in between 75 and 80. And then 99. So it's pretty close to that one. We're going to box our middle 3 points together. Oops. Let me undo that. And box our middle 3 points together. And then draw a line. And then we have our whiskers. Now this whisker up top is up here between 99 and 100 is going to be pretty short because there's not much difference, but that's our box and whisker. Now let's answer these questions. According to the box plot, 75% of the games Daniel scored equal to or less than how many points? So less than something. So we're going to start at the left. So we're going to look here at Daniel. Okay, so 75. That's each of these counts as 25. So 25, 50, 75. So 75% of his points are less than this one right here, which is 30.5. So he scored less than or equal to 30.5 points in 75% of his games. And then what percentage of the data is represented by the whisker on the right side of the box plot? So here's the whisker on the right side, and guess what? That's 25%. So 25% of the data is represented right there. And now let's look at example 4. And what score did 50% of the students score equal to or less than on? So equal to, so 25 is this whisker, 25 is this, so that's 50. So less than this number right here in the middle, which is the median of 88. 88. So 88% of the students scored less than, or 50% of the students scored less than or equal to 88 points. And then what percentage of test scores is represented by the box? Well, there's two components to this box, and each of them is 25%, so that is 50%. All right. Now let's take a look at the interquartile range. So the interquartile range is simply the upper quartile minus the lower quartile. So our upper quartile is 22. Our lower quartile is 10. So Q3 minus Q1 is 22 minus 10. So our interquartile range is 12. There we go. Anything above So if we go to the median, 14, and we subtract 12 from here, so that's 2. So if I do 14 minus 12, that's 2. Anything less than 2 are outliers. Okay, and then if I do 14 plus 12, that's 26. Anything greater than 26 is an outlier. So that means 34 is an outlier.